morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Global Atheist News Roundup, dateline the 10th of August 2024. This week's headlines. Canadian imams unleash fiery sermons, encouraging people to raise your family on jihad. Taylor Swift's Vienna concerts were cancelled after an attack threat. Former Scottish First Minister Humza Yousaf says he is considering leaving the UK. Muslim leaders urge restraint in response to far-right attacks. Catholics and Protestants are quite literally marching shoulder to shoulder in Belfast, Northern Ireland, as they demand an end to mass immigration. And an anti-trans Texas pastor was arrested for paying an undercover cop for sex. Here is the news in detail. In a disturbing trend, 3 Canadian imams have recently delivered inflammatory sermons promoting anti-Semitism and jihad. Imam Riyad Urzazi, Sheikh Yunus Kathrada, and Imam Adnan Abiyat used their Friday sermons to denigrate Jews and encourage militant Islamic ideologies. Urzazi claimed that Jews killed the majority of its prophets. See this video.
Canadian imams unleash fiery sermons. In a disturbing trend, 3 Canadian imams have recently delivered inflammatory sermons promoting anti-Semitism and jihad. Imam Riyad Urzazi, Sheikh Yunus Kathrada, and Imam Adnan Abiyat used their Friday sermons to denigrate Jews and encourage militant Islamic ideologies. Urzazi claimed that Jews, quote, killed the majority of its prophets, and asked rhetorically, what do you expect from such a nation? Regarding the ongoing conflict in Gaza. Particularly alarming was Abiyat's call for Muslims to, quote, raise their families and their nations on the idea of jihad, while also referring to Jews in derogatory language. Kathrada's sermon portrayed Jews as the enemies of Islam and criticized Muslims who emulate them, stating, quote, today we want to be like them. They are the enemies of Allah, like it or not. These sermons, delivered in mosques across Canada and live streamed on various platforms, highlight the growing concerns about the spread of extremist ideologies within religious institutions. The imam's rhetoric, which ranges from historical revisionism to outright calls for action against perceived enemies, underscores the ongoing challenge of combating hate speech and radicalization in religious contexts, particularly as tensions in the Middle East continue to influence discourse in diaspora communities.
3 upcoming Taylor Swift concerts in Vienna have been cancelled following a possible security threat. The shows, part of Swift's Eras tour, had been due to take place on Thursday, Friday and Saturday at the Ernst Happel Stadium. On Wednesday, 2 people were arrested on suspicion of planning attacks inspired by the Islamic State group on large events in the Austrian capital. A statement from the organisers said, due to confirmation by government officials of a planned terrorist attack at the Ernst Happel Stadium, we have no choice but to cancel the 3 planned shows for everyone's safety. Former Scottish First Minister Humza Yousaf says he is considering leaving the UK. See this video.
You cut me open and I'm about as Scottish as you come. But the truth of the matter is, I don't know whether the future for me and my wife and my 3 children is going to be here in Scotland or the United Kingdom, or indeed in Europe and the West, because I have for some time really worried about the rise of Islamophobia. I wrote a column about it actually just about a month ago, the rise of the far right driven by Islamophobia in Europe, UK and the West. And we are now seeing the culmination of not years, actually, decades of anti-migrant, anti-Muslim rhetoric being normalized in the political discourse, now playing out in the most horrendous, violent way possible. And that genuinely makes me question whether or not my family has an existence here in the UK or not. And by the way, I'm not the only one. I've had hundreds of messages from the Muslim community saying the exact same thing.
Muslim community leaders have urged restraint amid signs of a growing readiness to defend mosques, businesses and homes, using violence if necessary, after a week of aggression from the far right. On Monday, several hundred Muslim men, some wearing balaclavas and masks, gathered in the Bordelais area of Birmingham as threats of an imminent attack by the English Defence League and other far-right activists circulated on social media. A Sky News journalist was reporting live from the area when a protester interrupted her broadcast, shouting, "Free Palestine and fuck the EDL." West Midlands Police confirmed that a large number of people had gathered in Bordelais, but there were no clashes between the groups. The force said it was investigating reports of an assault, criminal damage to a pub, a car that had had its windows smashed, a vehicle that had had its tyres damaged, and reports of a man in possession of an offensive weapon. In Bolton, about 300 people joined a counter-protest against far-right activists on Sunday, resulting in skirmishes between the two groups and police. Shakil Afsar, who stood as an independent candidate in Birmingham Hall Green and Moseley in last month's general election, said, "Reasonable force may be needed to defend communities. We are not the agitators, aggressors or attackers," he said in a video posted on X. "We will stand there and defend our businesses and our homes, and if attacked, we will use reasonable and necessary force to defend ourselves. It's about defending the rights of our community and the honour of our people." See this video.
EDL announcing that they're coming today at 5 o'clock in Bosley Green outside the McDonald's. My dear brothers and sisters, I know you will go there to defend your shops, your businesses, your families, your masjids and other communities. But what every single one of us must remember, we are there to protect ourselves. We are not the agitators, aggressors or attackers. We will stand there and defend our businesses and our homes. And if attacked, we will use reasonable and necessary force to defend ourselves. I urge every single one of you, please, please remain respectful, because the EDL are not our teachers. And another quick message for every single one of you. Many of us have joined new WhatsApp groups. My dear people, in these WhatsApp groups, there are going to be spies, there are going to be EDL provocators, and most importantly, there are going to be law enforcement. Please be very mindful of what you're saying. You might be saying things in a jokey kind of way, but those WhatsApp chats will be used against you. Please be mindful, please be respectful, and for us, it's about defending the rights of our community and the honour of our people.
Catholics and Protestants are quite literally marching shoulder to shoulder in Belfast, Northern Ireland, as they demand an end to mass immigration. When these two communities are putting their differences aside and coming together, something serious must be happening. See this video.
Stand down, hold! Stand down, hold! Stand down, hold! Stand down!
Yeah, pedos off our streets! Pedos out! Pedos out! 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 The news will tell you there was probably 100 people here. We beg to differ. Yeah, you the lads. Yeah. Look at this. That's a fucking beautiful thing, boys. Look at that.
Former senior pastor at North Dallas Community Bible Fellowship in Plano, Texas, Dr. Terran L. Dames, was arrested for meeting a sex worker and offering to pay $150 for full service. In 2022, he delivered a sermon condemning Christians who accepted the existence of transgender people. He can't believe that we're imitating Sodom and Gomorrah and scoffing at his God. Finally, we are having a guest-free event this evening. Tercia and I will be talking about various issues of a topical or otherwise interesting nature. This has been Global Atheist News. Please like, subscribe and share. Thank you for watching.